Hi, and welcome to Lisa Unplugged. Now, forgive the glasses, I can't see otherwise, and I know some people edit it out, but I genuinely haven't got that in my head to actually do. So, anyway, this is the first video podcast I'm actually going to do. I've been recording podcasts for a long while now. I've got a face for radio. It's that simple. Anyway, I wanted to get this out there and actually have a conversation about what I'm passionate about. One thing I am actually passionate about, we are going to continue talking about. So, I'm passionate about many things, from teaching others new skills to learning new things myself. But most of all, I'm extremely passionate about the ocean. Now, it's not about the fish and the marine life. It's about what we don't know. You know, it's about discovering new things, and we know more about space than we do the ocean. And I love watching Noah's Nautilus live. For those of you that don't know what Nautilus is, it's a ship that goes out with two little ROVs that dive down, and they film it. It's incredible, and you can watch the live feed, and it's on YouTube. I will plug the link in the description below. Now, plastic in the ocean is the bane of my life. It has been for as long as I can remember. We have 8 million tonnes of plastic every year enter the ocean. And the reason I'm so passionate about the plastic in the ocean is because about 6 or 7 years ago, I watched a documentary called The Plastic Whale. And even now, it brings tears to my eyes. I absolutely sobbed all the way through that documentary. I absolutely sobbed all the way through that documentary because the long and short of it is they had to humanely kill a whale that had come into the fjords in, I think it was Norway, but I'm not entirely sure. And when they eventually did an autopsy, let's call it, it had 37 plastic bags in its stomach and mountains of other bits of plastic. What people don't realise is plastic breaks down in the ocean. It doesn't break down like it would, or like biodegradable stuff does. It breaks down into something called microplastic. Now, for those of you that don't know what microplastic is, it's tiny bits of plastic that float around on the ocean surface, and it's pretty much in the whole of the water column, from the top to the bottom. Watching Nautilus live, they found a plastic bottle thousands of feet deep, yet it should never have been there. And basically what happens is microplastic is ingested by marine life, and it's ingested by smaller fish that are eaten by bigger fish, and basically it's the food chain. But then we're eating that fish, so in hindsight we're eating microplastic. It's not hindsight, it's actually true. We are eating microplastic. So for me, plastic is the bane of my life. Now, I'm not a person to go and throw a tin of soup at a piece of artwork or glue myself to the floor, because I really don't think that's going to make a bigger difference than anything that other people are doing. You know, I don't think that's the right approach to destroy other things or to get in the way of other people. Now, I'm a little person in this big world, and I can't make much of a difference. One person can't make much of a difference. But that's not entirely true. I realised at that moment of that thought that I'm a podcaster. And I have a voice. So here I am. Now, for those of you that don't know, something called Earthshot's been going on this week. And it's awards for people that are trying to make a difference to climate change. Now, I'm not trying to preach, but I want to talk about some of the finalists, some of the winners from this year, and I think I've got one from last year, and it's the ones that I think that are going to make a bigger difference in what we do in normal everyday life. Now, there's one company called Not Pla, in other words, not plastic, I'm guessing. Now they use seaweed to create biodegradable containers, which is home compostable. Now, Not Plat, I'm reading the description off their website. I will put their website link in the description down below. Not Plat is a non-chemical modified based material. It is classified as natural organic substance by the EU law. Just like fruit peel, Not Plat can claim to be biodegradable and home compostable. I'll add, like I said, I'll add their website to the description below. Now, about 3 years ago, I saw a video of somebody being handed what looked like a little liquid tab, washing machine liquid tab. That's the only way to describe it to you. But they were drinking it, and I was a bit taken back, and I thought, surely that's full of chemical. And it turns out it's not. It's actually made by seaweed. And they create this seaweed to create what looks like a little plastic bag or a little container or whatever the case may be, and they dissolve. They're non-toxic, you can eat them, and they're doing them from things like little sachets of water to sachets of ketchup or mayonnaise or whatever the case may be, little what look like plastic bottles of olive oil for you know, like a single use. And that's, when I say single use, it's biodegradable, so it is single use product, but can break down. And I was quite taken back by it. And it's only since they actually won they won £1 million on the Prince William Earthshot Awards. I'm going to say last night, but I think it was the night before because it was in Boston. And we got to watch it in the UK last night, and I did watch it from scratch because I thought it was something completely different. And they're about to expand their operation, I guess. Now, they started in a little student accommodation in London, basically creating or trying to create an edible container. That's what I can't call it plastic because I keep going to, and it's not plastic. And I was quite surprised at how they started, and it's two university students with obviously a team behind them, and they tried everything, and eventually they were about to give up when they made the breakthrough with seaweed, which I thought was incredible. We grow seaweed at exponential rates in the ocean. You know, there's one particular form of seaweed that can grow 30 centimeters in a day. So it's not like it's going to cause an issue. They can also potentially create a seaweed farm. Now, I think if memory serves me right, they're actually in Wales. They live in Wales now. That's where their operation is, I think. But we could create a seaweed farm. And these guys have got the technology to get rid of single-use plastic. And I just hope that they do take on this big wide world of plastic, because the plastic companies are massive. You know, we relied on plastic for years and years, and they're making a lot of money, a hell of a lot of money. So for one little company to challenge the plastic economy, let's call it, it's going to be a fight, and you can see it coming. But do you know what? I 100% back Not Plat, 100%. So if you want to know more about them guys, like I said, the link for their website is going to be in the description. Now we're going to move on to another winner from last night, or the night before, whichever way you want. And this is called 4401. And basically, they remove carbon from the atmosphere and create rock with it. And I write notes, and my notes don't always make sense. You're gonna have to forgive me. So, they mineralize carbon in peridite. It's now, it happens all the time within the earth, but they're simply speeding up the natural process. So mineralizing CO2 eliminates the CO2 from the atmosphere. Now they started 4401 because they were concerned about the planet, and they wanted to remove as much carbon dioxide or carbon from the atmosphere as absolutely possible. So they came up with a way of mineralizing the carbon into rock, and it's there forever, absolutely forever. It's safe, it's quick, and it's cost effective, and I actually think it's quite cool. Now, my only thought after realising they're turning it into rock, my only thought is eventually we're going to be overrun by rocks, I guess, let's call it that. So what can we do with them? Can we build with them? We can't submerge them in water, because I'm guessing the second you do that, it'll start to break down, releasing the carbon monoxide. Now, yes, alright, photosynthesis and kelp and seaweed will potentially absorb a lot of that carbon. It still gets released into the atmosphere. So maybe that's something we need to look more into. They've obviously thought long and hard about this. They've obviously tried and tested it. And obviously it works for an effect. Now, their mineralisation is taking around about 12 months. Now, obviously, they want to upscale the operation to make that a little bit of a shorter time. I get that. But 12 months of locking carbon in stone and stopping it going into the atmosphere is better than doing nothing at all. Now, if you want to know more about 4401, I'm going to add their website into the description. Now, they were two of the winners from Earthshot 2022. Now, I want to talk about another one from 2021. And they're called Coral Vita in the Bahamas. Now, Coral Vita grows coral to revitalise dying coral reefs. Now, they basically grow corals to scale, and this can preserve the reef and vulnerable benefits they provide. Now, a lot of people don't realise is we have a lot of coral bleaching. And what coral bleaching basically means is that the coral's dying. And it goes from vibrant colours of reds and oranges and yellows, and absolutely beautiful to see. Google coral reef and you'll come with these amazing colours. And they go white. And they die. And it's basically the think about a fish tank. A big fish tank, which is the ocean. Think about if you had a tropical fish tank, you've got to get your salinity, your pH, your bacteria, it's all got to be a set parameter. Well, imagine them parameters in the ocean changing and the effect it's going to have on everything in that ocean, you know, from the animals that feed on the coral to the animals that feed on them and them and them, and it's just an endless game. It's an endless task. If we don't make a difference by creating new corals and small coral farms off the coast of Australia or Bahamas or wherever they are, we're going to lose a coral reef. And that is going to be drastic. And that is talking drastic. Now, I don't push my views onto other people, but I'm here to raise awareness. I'm one small voice in a really big world, whether you watch this or whether you don't. Thanks for watching if you do. As a human race, we need to make a difference. In fighting climate change, we need to fight climate change. Now, for those of you that are like, oh, climate change doesn't exist, do me a favour. Google the effects of the Hurricane Ian in Florida. Google the temperatures in India this year. Or actually, just go and Google the breakup of the ice caps and watch as thousands of tons of ice overturns itself and floats away. But look at hurricane damage. Look at the ice caps. Look at the wildfires. Look at the temperatures across the world. This is all small effects of climate change. And we as a human race need to make a difference. Do you know what? If you recycle your plastic and get rid of your rubbish the way it should be, fair play to you, you're making a difference. Might be a Small difference, but it's a difference all the same. But for those of you that are sat there going, it doesn't exist, it's just a ploy, look around. Because you know what, at some point, we're going to lose the earth. Because we're going to poison it so much. And we as a human race are doing that. The carbon we're pumping out into the atmosphere. Really? Anyway, I'm not pushing my views on you. Just go and look. Go and do your own research. Come back and have a look at what I've spoke about. But let's make a difference. Let's try and raise some small amount of awareness that actually we do need to make a difference. Anyway, that's my first video podcast, which I was really nervous about making, and I've done it. So, thank you so much for listening. I'll be back again, potentially in a month's time, with something else that I'm probably passionate about. Have a wonderful day. See you again soon. I'm Lisa Unplugged. Bye for now.